Yo, what's good? How y'all doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Hits in the building. Y'all tapped in, we hit, we tapped in. Looks like y'all need an update, a recap on the Week 10 fantasy football leagues that I'm in. I hope y'all having a good week, good month, and you're gonna be thankful for something when Thanksgiving comes. So without further ado, it's your boy Hit KLH, man. Captain Team KLH, hang strong, hashtag hang strong. It's your boy Hit, man. And, one of the Savage Premier Leagues. As you can see, we get the dub. We're sitting at 8-2. We got the dub at 109 to 97-14. And that's what that win looking like. You know, they got the weekly report up. So let's go ahead and check that out. These are a couple of the Week 10 report. Best team scored 154 points, and the worst team scored 83 for that week. Players of the week, as you can see, is Fields, Taylor, Lamb, Kelsey. Bench warmers of the week, people that should have been playing. Or you really can't say people should have been playing, but maybe. I mean, there's a couple guys that should have been playing. Aaron Rodgers is probably one. James Conner's another. And Tyler Higbee. But with Matthew Stafford going down and stuff like that, probably didn't play him because they had Wolford in the game. League awards: most efficient manager, least efficient, highest points in a loss, lowest points in a win, biggest blowout, narrow victory, overachiever, and underachiever. So as you can see here, we went 92.9%, and we're sitting 8-2. So let's head on to week 11 and see the matchup. Week 11, we're going to get to 2-8 Feller, and projection gives him a 53% chance to win. We got Herbert versus Heineke, Chubb and Cooks, Pearson and Derrick Henry, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Michael Pittman, Allen Robinson, Freiermuth. We'll see if Keenan Allen gets a play this week. Curtis Samuels is injured. So do we have anybody to play the Curtis Samuel spot? DK's on bye. Jason Everett is injured. So the answer to that question is kind of no. I don't know. Eno Benjamin has been picked up by the Houston Texans. So he probably, I don't know if he would be a direct RB2 and on that offense. But, you know, got us projected to score 123 points to 128. So that's one of the leagues there. Let's move on to the other league, Savage League 3. And as you can see, we won here. We're 6-4, the 4-game win streak, 223 to 207. Possible points were 290. man, this league is the NFL has been really like taking hits, like as far as like injuries and just kind of like stats on everyone. The Eagles lost to the Commanders. Crazy game at the end of the day. And I don't know what's up with these referees and not being able to pick up flags. Like, I kind of feel like roughing the passer is how vigilant the tackler is. You can see intent. You can see a guy pull up, and you let that game be decided over a field, over a flag. And not to say that the Eagles would have won the game, but they would have had more than 5 seconds to score. Controversy flags, stuff like that. If you're going to have booth reviews and you're going to have official reviews and stuff like that, there should be an official, like a coach should be able to challenge an official's decision. It should not be left in the hands of a referee at the end of the day. That's just one instant. I'm not an Eagles fan at the end of the day, but looking at that game and how it transpired in the last 2 minutes of that game, sucks that it had to go that way. Sucks it had to be put in the referee's hands. But then at the same time, you got people that would say, well, you can't let it go in the referee's hands. But good games are good games. Those are conference opponents. And Washington is going to play hard against Philly because the rivalries in the division. They're gonna be up for the game. So good game plan by them and executing and being able to at the end of the day win on all phases and including the referee. So, but hey. Let's go ahead and check the look at how this game went. So like I said, 223 to 207. We have Herbert, McCaffrey, Sanders, Devontae Adams. It's not questionable. Mike Evans, Hawkinson, Patterson. I don't know how the Falcons lost to the Carolina Panthers. Robbie Gould came and gave us 9 points. He's off the roster because we got Tucker back. So as far as defensively, we put up some pretty decent points, except for Elliott getting knocked out with a concussion. So let's go ahead and check the weekly report. So highest point. Best team was 328. Worst team was 207. Player of the weeks: Fields, Cooks, Jefferson, Kelsey, Crosby, James, Devin White. Bench warmers of the week: Aaron Rodgers rides the pine again. Connor McLaurin. I had McLaurin. Tucker. I don't know how that happened when he didn't use on a bye week. League's awards for most efficient manager: 208.62. That means he got 100%. He got everybody their points. Least efficient manager. Let's see. $296 of 351. Dang, that's crazy. Lowest points in the win, we get that award again. Highest points in the win, narrow victory, underachiever, overachiever. So as you can see, the percentage of the guys. So we got a guy that's 10-0 here. And then we got a guy 7-3, 6-4. So you can see we're in third place here. Let's move on to week 11. See how the lineup is looking. So it says we have 69% chance to win over 31, and that's because he doesn't have his people in the right spots for bye weeks. So I don't know if he's going to be doing that or not. It's not my problem, that's his. And he can't set it and forget it. Herbert. We got Robinson, Adams, Robinson, Hockenson, and Pickens, McLaurin, Tucker. So Elliott is on, not injury reserve, but he's on concussion protocol. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. Got to see if he's going to be able to play this week or not. We got Brian Robinson against Houston. So we can probably look at a couple of these players, see who we're going to play. Because Brian Robinson versus Houston should be a pretty good game for him to run through. You want a lot of greens out there, you know. But Houston's pass defense is really good as far as like containing receivers. So I could put Robinson in for Pickens. So we got two questionables on defense. We got Kurtzky and Elliott. That's what we got on reserve. So we still got some fine tuning to do. We'll make some adjustments Saturday or none at all. But that's that one. Let's hit up to the good old fantasy. This is the matchup for this week. So we're projected to score 129 points to 139. The opponent has a 53% chance to win to R47. It's the lineup so far. And let's get to the last week games. So last week we lost 118 to 185. Gee Louise. So Herbert is in the slump in a sense because why? He has no weapons. And they almost beat the San Francisco 49ers. So Napoleon Harris, Mr. Najee Harris himself, in the game with 99 yards. Like, come on. 1 yard? Come on, man. Tyreek Hill, 12. So we took a mean L in this game. No really bench points besides Brian Robinson. I did make a trade. My first trade of the year. I traded Devontae Smith and Kenyon Drake for Brian Robinson. I got Brandon Cooks and Curtis Samuels. So the ideal in that trade, the person I traded with had majority of the Ravens backfield because I had let go of Gus Edwards and he picked them up. So I gave him the trifecta as far as like being able to know if this running back's going to, go through the, he has to play that fiddle game of who to play, So I ended up getting Brian Robinson. I would say, I'm not going to say he's the bell cow back, but he did get 20-something carries. He had a pretty good day, as far as, So Devontae Smith is a starting receiver, number 2 option. So I ended up trading him for a starting receiver number 1 option, hopefully, if he acts right, because he wanted to be traded in Brandon Cooks. And I also got a number 2 starting receiver, a starting receiver number 2 option in Curtis Samuels until Jahan Dotson comes back, because then they kind of run a three receiver set. But the second option is Curtis Samuels. So, looking at the trade, it was a good trade because you capitalized on kind of getting back a player that maybe can do some stuff that Devontae Smith can do, and Brandon Cooks, but by him being a number 1 option. So, but right now he's going through a funk of not being traded and not really playing. I would say not really playing hard. Kind of can't trust him at the same time, but inconsistency of Devontae Smith is basically the same thing. Can't trust him either, So that's why that trade went through, and why that trade was kind of, it flourished into that trade. So we end up getting Brian Robinson back. Much needed depth at the running back position. Because one thing about it, I'd rather go with deciding if I'm going to play Brian Robinson or not versus 2 running backs in Drake and Gus Edwards. Like, we're going to play Robinson. He's healthy, whatever. So let's go through the league and see how every game went through. So right now the record sits at 2-1. So now let's go with the lineup. So, we got Herbert, Harris, Brian Robinson, Michael Pittman, and then as you can see, Cooks is in the lineup here. Cordell Patterson. So Cooks is already getting the start where Devontae Smith would have been the player of interest in this, Cordell Patterson ended up with 5 carries last week in a very close loss. So I don't really understand that. I don't know why the game plan kind of changed. You know what I'm saying? Like, they go from this heavy run offense to this non-factoring offense. Like, I don't know. It just didn't make sense. Like, you hit the headline. You can see the headlines. And they're talking about how they're running the ball and everything like that. Like, then you turn around and watch the game, and it's like, bro, they're doing the complete opposite of that. And they should have been able to run on Carolina. But now they got the Chicago Bears without Roquan Smith, who's now on the Baltimore Ravens. That's another funny thing too. Like, trade deadline, the Ravens go out and get a linebacker instead of getting a receiver for Lamar Jackson. All these other teams are getting weapons for their quarterbacks. So, a team that has not... Lamar Jackson has been on the Ravens for 5 years, and he has not got a legit weapon. If you want to call Steve Smith a weapon, which I do like Steve Smith, but, if he would have got Cam Newton, Steve Smith, been a lot, he'd have had more juice. But, these guys ain't getting weapons for this player. They're just making the offense be 87% reliant on him. Running the ball. And there's one thing about Lamar Jackson too, that a lot of people who want to always say that he's a quarterback, he's this and he's that. Well, one thing we do know about the Ravens, that's think logically. Ravens are always a defense first type of team. Run the ball. So it doesn't matter, the quarterback can run the ball, and they're going to run the ball. They're going to play defense and run the ball. But unanimous MVP crap because the Ravens went, 15-1 that year? Or they may have lost 2 games. That's why he was unanimous. Everybody else had like 6 losses. 5 at best. So that there was a gap and there was a separation. They could have played against a lot of good, non-playoff teams, just like how the Dallas Cowboys could have a good record in 13-3, and you look at their playoff and who they're playing against, they have no playoff caliber teams on their schedule, and they have a good record. That does not mean they're good. It does not mean Dak needs to be MVP. The strength of schedule was very poor. I'm not saying that was the Ravens that year, but what I will say is this, is that as far as MVP winning, Lamar Jackson was a disappointment. Because he's a quarterback, for one. So, he's the lowest passing attempts and passing completions to ever win MVP. He has the lowest passing yardage, total yardage, in passing to win an MVP. And he also has the lowest passing touchdowns as an MVP. And then he also has the lowest yards per game passing as an MVP. The lowest. Y'all don't do homework. Yeah, he won MVP. Why did he win MVP? Because his team was, they were hot. That team was hot. But they got exited in the first round. No, not their first round of playoffs. They went home, first round bye. Took a L. So, now the award that what he did have, now he had the most rushing yards by a quarterback in the season. And I think he had the most touchdowns as a quarterback winning MVP. Rushing touchdowns. So, when you add all that shit together, that's a running back at the end of the day. Because everything that he did as far as a quarterback, what you want your quarterback to do, he was the lowest in. The worst. There's no quarterback winning MVP just based off 3,000 yards passing, 30 touchdowns. It's crazy. And that wasn't even a down year for quarterbacks, because quarterbacks were still, Patrick Mahomes had I think he was hurt, but he still had way over, 4,000 yards. He just lost some games. That's all it was. He just lost more games than the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe the Ravens did beat them. I think the Ravens did beat them that year. So the Ravens do have notable wins. But I mean, as far as anything, the way that they won, the way he got MVP, bro, stat-wise, it was the worst performance of a quarterback. Winning an MVP, stat-wise, passing the ball, worst performance of worse. And I'm not gonna crown a guy because he has, his QBR was high, or his, his completion percent. Bro, he's only throwing 12 passes to 18 passes a game. It's not impressive. Y'all skip all those narratives to make your own narratives so you can be right. We know why Patrick Mahomes was unanimously the MVP when he won MVP. I don't care who he was in the rankings with and who was in second. He was the best quarterback, and he's the best quarterback. Still is the best quarterback in the league right now, and he can win MVP every freaking year, pretty much. Because there's nobody really playing better than him. Somebody playing better than him in the season's end, when the season's over with. Doesn't matter, because when you win and lose, it's a team effort when you win and lose. MVP is individual awards. It's not a team. So I don't know why some of these people who win MVP is predicated off their record. Because that's a team. Overall record is an overall team assessment and everything like that. So, but that is neither here nor there. Let's move on. So as you can see, the lineup here is here. We took an L here. Let's move on to the next week. We got to have some fillers to give you some substance in these uploads. You may not like them. You may. I don't know. But we will definitely not go talk about these Dallas Cowboys losing to the Packers. We ain't gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So here we are 5-5 in the other league. I forgot to tell you guys we were 6-4, and we're 5-5 here. It means we took an L because we were 5-4 here. And let's see. In this league here, man, we lost by 105 points. No, we lost by more than 105 points. Yeah, we lost by 105 points. It felt like more. We lost 75 to 180. The lowest points I've had all season. Well, so far. As you can see, we had Warfel at quarterback because Mr. Kyler Murray didn't play last minute. And I selected the wrong quarterback. Should have went with Colt McCoy instead of Wolford. But Wolford had a very positive game playing against the Cardinals. And kind of try to do my research to see, like, okay, I'm going to go with him. But, you know, times have changed, obviously. Wolford has gotten worse. But he gave me 15. But as you can see, you know, guys didn't really play. I expected, you know, like I've said also, too, get your starting receiver versus Atlanta Falcons, and it bit me in the butt. DJ Moore had 4 catches for 29 yards, but they're, I guess, leading predominantly in this game. Matt Ryan came back. Didn't help Pitts much, but they got the win, 25-20, so that's really good. Let's see what else. Yeah, we really just was really low, and we might have another low week this week. We'll see. We're trying not to have a low week this week, but we'll have to see how everything turns out. Let's see what else. So yeah, we lost 180 to 75. This will be the week standings. It's not standings, but the results. Let's see. So as far as that, let's go ahead and check this roster out for this week. So we have Colt McCoy here because has a 0 on it, on his Kyler Murray. So we got Derrick Henry, Gus Edwards, DJ Moore, Michael Pittman. Zach Ertz is done for the season. Keenan Allen, blase, and bye weeks, Kenneth Walker. Do I kind of want to play Drake London? I don't know. I really don't know. So we're 5-5, looking to bounce back. You know, at the end of the day, the motto is 0-1 every week is 0-1, trying to get to 1-0. So we're sitting 5-5 in the middle of the pack. And in the other league, we are 6-4 on top, quarter of the pack. So yeah, 5-5, and we trying to get a dub. You know what I'm saying? So, kind of looking for a flex. We got Keenan Allen maybe trying to get his way back. Don't really know. So we'll have to see how that goes. So, but that'll be it for this one, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one, and y'all stay safe and tune into Week 11 recap. Peace out.